Good evening, everyone. Apologies for the late start. Today is March the 25th, as I always say, in this lovely town of Capitol Heights. And it is now 7:12. So Police Chief Morgan, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Roll call, Marilyn Monroe.
Here.
Councilmember Amanda Anderson. Councilmember Anita Anderson. Councilmember, sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, Tony Chu.
Here.
Councilmember Faith Ford.
Here.
Councilmember Victor James.
Present.
Councilmember Ron Williams.
Here.
Administrators off, Chief Police is here, Neighborhood Services here, and Public Works.
Okay. Can we please have a silent prayer, please? Amen. Now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm gonna have to say, the Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you. So now we're going to have approval of the agenda. Council? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion that, try to back this meeting up by
Not to backtrack, but and when you say that, when we did the resolutions, we didn't, did you guys do a formal vote on that? And so far as we said, we're going.
Yes, we did.
And please refresh my memory, what was the time?
7-9.
Okay. So Councilman Lee is on target, so just
We did well the last meeting.
okay. Agenda approval? Okay, 5 minutes each, right? Okay. Yeah.
Is someone else?
No.
Come on, y'all.
I'm sorry. Can we change the format of the meeting? So instead of, our, reports from neighborhood services and, property standards, can they go after the approval of the, meeting? I'm sorry, the agenda?
Okay, where do you have, I'm sorry, where are you? Approval of agenda, meeting rules, where do you have?
After the meeting rules,
Mayor
I'm
and
sorry.
council reports. That you have them after the they're after the presentations.
Yeah, but they want to go before the presentation.
No,
Yeah, so they won't be so late.
no, well, because they're,
Yeah, they just have short, reports.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, because they've been here all day, and I think we should go ahead and let them go before, so they can go ahead and do the.
It's gonna have to be very short because we have, Dr. Najazi can only be on till 7:30. That's why he's on here now. He's the principal of CPJ. He has a backup meeting. He has to go by 7:30.
He's gonna be
Yes.
online.
He's on CPJ.
Okay, so,
CPJ, so that's what I'm
okay,
saying.
so can we
I
have
can
them go
cut their
after CPJ?
reports.
No,
Yeah.
we can have them go after CPJ. If that's
Okay,
okay with
that's
everyone.
what y'all wanna do. We'll have CPJ go and then we'll go to reports and then we'll go back to Argos.
Okay, is that okay? Okay.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, Vote please.
I so moved, we accept it.
Can you please state the motion?
No, we just rearranging in the agenda. So after CPJ give their report out, then we're gonna have reports by neighborhood services and, property standards.
There's no motion on the floor?
Things around.
There's no motion on the floor?
Accept the
No.
agenda.
The agenda-
Well,
Excuse me.
to accept the agenda is actually a motion on the floor, but it's accepting it with that change she just said. So I see what you're saying. So
Yeah.
the chief is saying, what is the change?
Does that require a vote?
No,
It does?
no.
Yeah.
No?
No, because we're voting to accept the agenda. That's the vote
Okay.
with that change.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Councilman James had something.
Yeah, I
Yes,
have just one little quick thing I want to add. With my convictions as a Christian, I would like to have an audible prayer to my Lord to say that Jesus Christ opposed to this non-denominational. So that's for the future.
Okay, yeah, we can discuss that, but
Yeah.
you have to respect it's non-denominational because we have people in the town who are Muslims. We have people who are Seventh-day Adventists. We have all different types of religions. So we can do a Christian prayer. I don't have a
Yes.
problem with that if the council goes with that. The non-denominational takes in the fact that there is a myriad of religions, not just Christianity,
No, I understand.
which I am.
I don't need an explanation. I understand.
Sure,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So we okay with the agenda, everybody? Any days?
Yeah.
You got it? Chief?
Yes, ma'am.
All right then. Can you go over the meeting rules, please?
Any rules? Bear with me, let me pass it. Yeah. There we go. Let's see. Mayor and council invites and welcome at the public meeting, the mayor and the chair will recognize you. Please introduce yourself and off the phone, close your phones. Sorry, please introduce yourself at the podium, spelling out your last name for record and for recording purposes, and give a name of your street or your block number, for example, for the block of 34th Street. Time is limited for speaking. And, I'm sorry, time is limited for speaking or indicated on the meeting agenda. While speaking, please maintain a courteous tone and avoid personal attacks. If you wish to lodge a complaint about performance or conduct of any town employee, please bring it to the attention of the town administrator, who will look into the matter and respond to you. As a courtesy to others, residents, and businesses, council requests that you, as speakers, not use specific addresses or names of individuals when describing the situation or making a complaint unless the name and address is essential to understanding of the situation or complaint. Noting the block is preferred for a specific address, code enforcement, public safety issues should be first brought to the attention of the appropriate department.
Thank you.
Council sound all the ones.
Okay, thank you. Are there any public comments? I see Mr. Brown. I'm just after Mr. Brown, are there anything on, so I know where we're going?
Not as of yet, no.
Okay, Mr. Brown, you want to come up or you want to stay there? Okay.
Six CPJs on the line,
What's that?
6 CPJs on the line.
All right.
Am I allowed to ask questions of them?
You want to wait till afterwards? Because he's going to be gone in 10 minutes if we don't get to. That's up to you. It's up
Well,
to
I
you.
got bubbles.
Can, I'm just making complaints.
Well, no, I was gonna say, one, the city association attended the Google, my quarter meeting this past weekend. And, you know, we did it over a few weeks. 6 weeks.
Okay, well, I don't want to go rush. It's not fair to you. Can we let them go 10 minutes and let you come back? Is that okay? That way you'll have your time. Is that fair? Thank you. Okay. Anybody, who's on there from CPJ, please?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is
Okay,
Haitham.
okay.
Yeah.
You want to?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, good evening, Mayor and council member. members there. My name is Haitham Hijazi. I'm with Charles P. Johnson Associates. You're a civil engineer. And with me tonight, I have Robin Bernhardt, who is the project manager on the safety complex for this town of Capitol Heights. So I'm going to turn it over to Robin, to give you a briefing based on your request on the status of the project. Robin?
Good evening. So where we're at right now is we just received the Senate control plan renewal was renewed after much time. Atwell was not responsive, and even after the town paid the extension fee with DPI, we were not getting a response. Dr. Hijazi stepped in. He contacted DPI, received the renewed concept approval in one day. And then he also reached out to Prince George's County Soil Conservation District and coordinated so that they approved the plans expeditiously. So we received the renewed sediment control plans last week. And I know that a PDF of those was sent to Ms. Wren, and we can make another copy available if need be. Also, we've been coordinating with the consultants that's going to be handling the building permits. We received the updated proposals just this evening, right before 5 o'clock. I received the last updated proposal. So from the proposals that were sent out, or that the mayor that you and the council reviewed previously, there has been a couple changes in there. We were informed that the units that have been sitting on site for a while had sustained damage because they've been sitting out there. So the architect and I went out on site, and we did a walkthrough with Councilman James and Chief Morgan. And it was a preliminary walkthrough to assess the extent of the damage that's occurred. The plastic wrapping that encloses the sides of the units that join together due to the sunlight and weather exposure has deteriorated, and there are tears and holes in the plastic that is allowing the inside of the units to be exposed to the weather. So there is some damage that has been sustained out there. So the proposal for the architect's team was updated to include a complete assessment of that damage so that the town will be able to have it documented what the damage is. And once we have that, then they can prepare plans to for the contractor to fix the damage when they install the units themselves. So I sent out an email on Friday evening to you, Mayor, and Councilman James and Ms. Wren, documenting these changes that were included in there. The fees for the other 3 consultants did not change. So there's a total of 4 proposals in total. All 4 are necessary to complete the project. They each provide a different service that is needed. So I can go through those in more detail, but with the time amount, I don't know if you want me to do that now or if my email was sufficient on Friday.
Okay, what I'm trying to do in addition to me, myself, I'm trying to bring the council up to speed. So is there a little bit more you can elaborate on that? That portion
Sure.
again? Because
Yes.
how much is it going to cost to repair those units? I guess
For the actual repair of the units, we do not have that guesstimate right now. That can't be determined until they do the full damage assessment. The only thing that we've done to date was to get a preliminary walkthrough so that the consultant would understand the scope so that they could put a fee amount to doing the full assessment so they could understand what that full was going to be. We were hoping it'd be very minimal damage out there, but it was definitely more than we expected. So they added to their scope the cost to do the full assessment, which totaled so the full set assessment for all the disciplines totaled $8,800.
We have a background.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you're okay.
okay, so what was added to Avanture's proposal was a line item, a task to do the full damage assessment and prepare a report of what they find as being damaged. And that totals to $8,800. In addition, when CPJ went through Avanture's previous proposal, we found that they had excluded all cost estimating, and there needs to be at least an order of magnitude estimate put together in order to get the building permits. So we had them add that to their scope. So Avanture's base scope was increased up to a total of $29,600 but that only affects the architecture based scope. So they have multiple tasks in their proposal. We actually had CPJ asked them to identify their work by task so that the town could be very clear with what they're authorizing them to do. So task 1 is the base scope of permit drawing service. So this is what is needed to get the plans up to code and get them submitted and reviewed and approved to get your permits. That task total between the 3 disciplines that are covered by the Avanture's proposal, which includes architectural, structural, and MEP, that totals $45,700. Task 2 is construction administration services. They have a limit in there. It's a hourly not to exceed, and it's not to exceed $13,800. But again, that's construction management, and that would be only if the town needs it and requests it at a future time. Task 3 is that damage assessment report that we talked about that is needed, and that's $8,800. They have a task 4, which is preparing the actual repair, the plans for the repair of those units. Right now, they have it listed as hourly not to exceed, and they've given themselves a limit for architecture at $3,000, for structural at $1,600, and MEP listed as to be determined. They could not put a limit on that until they actually do the assessment under task 3 and actually determine what's the scope that would be that damage has occurred to those systems, if any. Once they do that task 3, then we can go back to them when they have that report and have them fine tune those task 4 numbers and make it as lump sum and not hourly to exceed at that point. But for right now, they've put it in as between structural and architecture as being $4,600 and MEP as being to be determined as an hourly not to exceed number. Task 5 is they have a reimbursable expense allowance of $1,000, and that's for prints and things like that. And task 6 is an optional service if authorized by the owner for site lighting evaluation at $1,500. So in order to get this project moving, what needs to be authorized at this time is task 1, which is the base scope to get the permit drawings prepared and submitted, and task 3 to get the damage assessment report performed. And those 2 tasks, getting those 2 tasks authorized, will get the process moving. And then, like I said, once the damage report is done, we can go back to them and have them fine tune their numbers for preparing the repair designs and also put it as a lump sum number instead of hourly. And then the other tasks, the construction administration, reimbursables, and optional services would only be if authorized by the town at some point in the future, but those are not needed at this point to be authorized.
Okay. I'm sorry. Are you done yet or?
That's the first proposal. The other three proposals are the same numbers as the town previously saw. There's Mr. James Chapman. He does the modular units and he'll be updating his plans for that. There's no change in fee for his. The only thing we did was CPJ worked with him to create a formal proposal. Instead, previously he just sent his in as an email. So we wanted a formal proposal that the town could sign as a document there, that contractual document. Aerial Architects, they're going to be the third-party reviewer of the plans and through the county. There's no change in fee with that. The only thing we had them do was revise their proposal to address it to the town. Previously, it was addressed to CPJ. So that's the only change there. And then Sika, they're going to be the third-party inspection during construction phase. That's required by the county for the permitting process as well. Again, no change in fee. I just got their revised proposal again tonight. The only thing that we had changed there was, again, to address it to the town instead of CPJ. So those are the four proposals that we need to have the town approve.
Okay, how much time do we have left with Dr. Johnson?
As much as you want, Mayor, don't worry.
Okay, can we, go to some questions?
Of course.
Okay. I heard you. I'm gonna start down this, and I'm gonna start with, because he's already told me ahead of time, Councilman, James has a crucial question on the permit, and then we'll go to Councilwoman Anita. Councilman James, you want to answer on the
Yes.
permit, sir?
I sure do. Good evening, Dr. Ajay and the CPJ staff. How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Now, on the sediment control approval, the green stamp drawings, the final approval, the expiration date has been scratched out and someone handwritten a new expiration date in there, but there was no signature or initials beside it.
That's correct. That is,
Right.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
Yeah, who is the authorizing? I see Julie O'Miller is on here, and that was in 2020. So who authorized this?
That was done by Prince George's County SCD. That is how they extend the expiration dates.
So
SCD is the one that crossed that out and wrote it in. That's their process that they do.
okay, well, no one, I mean, because how do we know that? And if I call them, will this be validated? Will they verify?
Yeah,
Yes, because
excuse me,
Yes,
Robert.
sir.
Yeah, this is Haitham Hijazi again. John Tarr did authorize that, and the reason for that because Atwell were really not sending him the new plans to be signed off because of the payment that they were holding off until they get the payment. So John Todd just got tired and sick of Atwell, and then when they had used the same plans that he had originally in his hand, in his possession, scratched the old date and put the new date on. So this is authorized by John Tarr, who is in charge of Soil Conservation District. After the Atwell, which is just late last week, after they got the payment, they did send another set of plans to Soil Conservation District. So what I'm gonna do is probably get another set of plans from John Torr stamped, which those were sent by Atwell. So, but right now we do have the green stamp plans. We picked them up last week, and from Atwell, we went to their office, picked them up, and have them in our possession, which we can have them at the town hall if you want, or we can have Robin keep them. I prefer that you keep one and we keep one. So right now we
Yes.
have one set only, and Atwell has the second set.
Okay. Now, yeah, for future reference, someone needs to validate these things, because as this exists, it's not valid, because there's no one standing beside this. this edit. And this, this won't stand in the court of law. So somebody has to stand by this with an initial or a signature. And then the other, excuse me?
We can, Councilman, get John Tar, to initial that if you want. But
Yes,
they went
please.
ahead and sent the other set of plans, to soil conservation, which we can get another green stamp set based on the new plans.
Please.
So John
And
Tar was trying to do the town a favor and do us a favor by really just getting this
we don't
done.
need that type of favor, sir.
It's
Okay, I appreciate it. We don't need that. One other thing too, as far as the peer review, there is no approval date on that stamp drawings. That stamp set of drawings, if you review it, you'll see no peer review approval date. So what is this document?
There is no need for a peer review. It's just they were waiting only to get the plans from DPI on the stormwater management renewal so they can stamp the plans. As soon as they got them the DPI approval, they signed the plan. So there is no peer review that is necessary. They didn't do any design. This is the same old design. It's a renewal of the existing plans. That's why John Tar went ahead and scratched the old date and put the new date.
Okay, but I'm talking about the peer review approval stamp. There is nothing on it, it's just a
You
stamp.
do not need a peer reviewer for something that's been reviewed and approved before. So this is not, again, all what we're doing is renewing the plans. So there is no new design. Atwell didn't do any changes to the plans. They are the same plans that were done, previously.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, Dr. Ajazi. I'm saying even from previous approval, we have nothing on the drawings. That's what I'm telling you. I understand what you're saying. I'm not talking about an edit. I'm talking about an initial approval. That is not on there. So that's what it needs to be signature stamped or something needs to go on that line item to validate that it's been reviewed. Otherwise, it's just a stamp.
Councilor James, are you referring to pages 4 and 5 of the sediment control plan set?
I actually don't have the drawings in front of me, but if that's the drawing, yes. I have a snapshot because I took a picture of it on my phone.
So the peer review stamp is a part of the DPI approval system or process, not part of the SCD approval process. And a lot of times what engineers do, ourselves included, is we will use the same sheet for both approvals. And they can get done and approved in different orders depending. So that doesn't mean that it wasn't approved on a different copy elsewhere. But what Hytham or Dr. Hijazi is saying is correct, that this set here that is approved is part of the SCD approval is correct. The peer review process is not part of the SCD and they don't need that for their SCD approval.
Okay. All right. And for the future references, we do need a copy of every hard copy that's printed out and that's released. We need the current approved set in this tank.
We picked that up. We picked that up on Friday and we'll have it delivered to the town.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Anita?
What was his name? Robin, when
Yes,
you were
ma'am.
going, this will be real quick. When you were going over the tasks, you said task 1 will give us, is it 4,500?
45,700 is task 1.
45 what now?
45700.
Okay, that's for task 1.
Yes.
Okay, then task 2 was what again? I'm sorry.
That was the construction administration services. That's an hourly not to exceed of 13,800.
Okay, and then task 3 was
The damage assessment and report.
damage assessment. And that. The report.
Yep. And that was
Okay.
for 8,800.
Okay, that was task 3. And then
Yeah.
task 4 was what?
Task 4 was preparation of the repair design plans to fix anything they find in that damage report, the damage assessment. And that is right now hourly not to exceed, but they don't have a total amount for the MEP. So they're giving themselves a limit of 4,600 for the architectural and structural combined, and it's to be determined for the MEP.
He said 36. Yeah. Actually just saying 46.
Did you say, because it's been a discrepancy here in saying, you said
36.
36 earlier, now you got it at 46.
I'm sorry, if I made a mistake, I apologize. It's in total, it's 4,600. That's split between 3,000 for the architect and 1,600 for structural.
Okay, then at, that was task for task 5 is 1,000 for the prints,
Yeah, reimbursable. Yep,
$1,000 for the prints, right?
correct.
Okay, and task 6 was the site lighting at 1,500.
Yes, that's optional if it's approved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I yield.
Yes, can you tell me the date that you sent us? Hello, how are you? My apology.
Hi.
Wonderful. Can you tell me the date that you sent that information to the council with the updated amounts?
Yes,
Very.
I sent the a summary of everything on Friday, March 22nd. And that went to Mayor Victor James and Joy Wren.
Would you please send that to the entire council?
Yes, I can. I can send that, and I'll swap out for the updated SECA proposal we just got tonight.
Thank you. I do.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, Mayor, I'd like that before then. If we can get that information before we try to make a decision, that would be helpful.
And actually, I don't even remember it. So I will open it before to council, and then I will give her all the emails.
Thank you.
No problem. Sure.
I yield. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Councilwoman Chu. I have a couple of questions. My first question is, I know you mentioned in terms of the damage to the modules and weather permitting. I know that they're not going to, you mentioned, unless I heard wrong, you mentioned that they were not going to be doing any damage repairs until they start actually, I guess, moving the modules and set the modules in their place. And if that's the case, how are we going to mitigate additional damage from weather? Are we going to cover the modules? Are we going to do anything to mitigate any further damages to the module?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna, yeah, just to answer that question. I did speak with Ms. Wren last week, and I know she was gonna follow up with town staff of potentially going out and seeing to install new plastic sheeting to help shield it and protect it from additional weather or rain and stuff like that from getting inside.
So more like a weatherproof until everything is in place. My second question is, it seems like we're paying a lot for a lot of administrative work and not actually physical work. I know that there's permits that has to be done. There's evaluation, assessments, and everything like that. But I just feel like we've done this before. And I'm kind of not understanding, and maybe I need to look at your document to see the actual details of the different tasks that you explained. Because right now I feel like we're redundancy. We're paying again for permits and you know, all of these licenses and stuff that we thought we had at first. And so, and then you mentioned that there are 4 consulting firms that are going to do 4 different things. Is that all of this included in your report that you sent out on the 22nd?
Yes, yep, I mentioned all 4 proposals and they were attached. So just to give you a little bit of history and why this feels like you're redoing some things. So the previous, there was a different architect, that the town had that prepared plans for the module and everything else, but they had not gone through and gotten the building approval and the building permit issued. When, the town brought CPJ in to help out with this project and get it across the finish line, Dr. Hijazi reached out to that architect before to try to bring them back in and keep everyone as the same team to help get it through as fast as possible. And that architect refused to continue working on this project. They did not want to continue. So Dr. Hijazi reached out to his contacts and found Avanchers as the architect. So they are coming on and they're going to have to take that set of plans that was done by another architect. They got to bring those plans. First off, those plans were done previously. And since then, the county has adopted a new building code. So it does have to be updated to the new codes that are currently in place. But it is a new architect firm. And so when they come on, they do have to, in some cases, recreate certain drawings in CAD and go from there. So there is going to be a little bit of duplication in getting these drawings up, and then they have to bring them up to code, but then they have to take it and finish it out, which was not done before, which is getting the actual approvals and building permit issued.
Okay. And my last question is, in that document you sent on March the 22nd, is there a project schedule layout? So we know, so that the council would know where, if these things are done, these are the dates and accomplishments, and this is where we're going to be. Like, say for instance, if I look at the plan, I can see in June, if we stick to the plan, this is where we will be in June. If we stick to the plan, this is where we'll be in September. If everything goes as planned, this is where we'll be in October. Is there anything in your document on the 22nd that you sent out? Is that information included?
That information was not included in the email on the 22nd. We can certainly prepare a draft of that. I will say is the key on that obviously is how soon we can get a notice to proceed out to the consultants, because that's going to be the biggest thing for that. But we could certainly prepare a rough draft on that, but it ultimately would be is when we get notice to proceed to these consultants to go, the first thing we would have them do is prepare a project schedule, and then we can hold them to it. If I give you one now, I can just give you one that I would estimate would be, but that's coming from me. That's not necessarily coming from them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how soon, I know you said that, how soon will we be able to start running on this? How soon is it information that the council needs to work as soon as possible? Or, I mean, what is it that we need to do to get jump started on this? And I'm just asking because this has been in the mix for so long. I feel like it's a lot of talk, and nothing is really getting done.
Yes, I understand. And so what needs to be done so we can get moving is we have to give notice to proceed to these consultants, specifically the Avanchers consultant and the James Chapman. Those are the first two. The other two are needed, but they're not needed at this exact moment. If those are delayed a little bit, it won't delay the project. But Avanchers and James Chapman, we need to give them notice to proceed. So their 2 proposals need to be signed by the town and sent back to them as the notice to proceed so they can start work. That is the number 1 thing that has to be done to get this project going.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate the information.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's when you said cost for that.
Yeah, I think it is a cost. You will send us the cost for the Adventures Consultant and the James Chapman Consultants, correct?
I'm sending all 4 because if you could sign them all, the other 2 we can give to them so that they know what's coming to them and they will be ready for it. So there's no need to wait on them, but the two to really get moving is the Adventures and James Chapman, but I'm going to provide all four.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you for your time and being here. Councilman Chu asked a lot of the questions I had. I just want to make sure I'm understanding that the first decision, the next decision you're seeking from the council is an approval of the notice to proceed. Is that correct?
Contract.
Yes, and direction for the town to sign those proposals.
And direction for the town to sign those proposals.
Yeah.
And then my last question is, are there any ramifications of adhering to or failing to adhere to any specific deadlines that the council really needs to be aware of?
I'm trying to make sure, can you repeat the question again?
Sure. I just want to make sure while we have this time to communicate that the council is aware of any, ramifications to adhering to or failing to adhere to any specific deadlines in this process.
To my knowledge right now, there's no any sort of ramifications yet or anything like that, other than obviously is the sooner we get notice to proceed, the sooner we can get this process going. And I believe the town has certain funding that is allocated for this. So I do know that there is obviously great intent to get this moving quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you. And you.
Councilman James. Just one last thing. It's quick. It's quick, man. Okay. Robin,
Yes, sir.
You don't have to waste time with doing the schedule. Let it come from your vendors, because I know we're gonna have to pay for that, right? And that schedule that you're gonna do that Councilwoman Chu asked for is gonna not be accurate.
No, she said the consultants was going to.
Oh, okay, but I thought you asked for a preliminary schedule.
No, she explained to me
Oh,
why.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't want Robin to waste time with doing that.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, and the second thing, you did send over the contract for us to sign, correct?
I sent them over on Friday. You should have received a copy, Councilman James. All four were attached. The only thing is the Sika one is the old one, so I do have to update that to get you the new Sika one that came through tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, in the interest of time, I will ask Mike a couple questions and then we'll move on. And obviously, I appreciate you both coming on. Just I know that Dr. Majowski was already booked for this time, so thank you both. But my question is, I know I was thinking, because we did this, I believe, in December. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I'll go after you. We have a resident that has a question. I'll just go last.
At first, from what I added up, this is before the work, any work is done. I got 27,100, is that correct?
No.
The 4,000, 4,500, the 13,800, 45,000. Oh, that's enough. Okay.
You got some more?
Um,
You want to come up with after this, right?
700.
oh yeah,
You got another one for them?
one more. Well, it's mainly for the council, so.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and just so for introduction purposes, if that was Mr. James Brown, I should have recognized him by name. So, I will go on with my couple of questions is, in December, if I recall correctly, we had said that we would get a jump start once we got the code, things up to code, like the extra electrical, et cetera, because ours were in 215 and the codes had changed in 2018. So I'm wondering, those will not be the first set of permits that we need to actually bring things up to code.
The plan sets that the consultants are gonna be preparing and bringing up to code is the ones that have to be brought up to code.
And for identifying purposes, or is it, will be something that's easily comprehensive, we can comprehend, because again, I will go in and check Fridays, and then I will forward it to the entire council, and then of course we will have to speak on it. So is it easy, understandable? The way, whatever you sent the package?
Yeah, so the email, I gave a full outline of what each of the documents were, whether there was any change in fee, which, like I said, the three were not. And then I gave a detailed explanation for each of the tasks and vouchers and what the fee is. And at the end, I made the recommendation that the council approves all four proposals. But for Avancha's proposal, we recommend that only tasks 1 and 3, number 1 and number 3, be authorized at this time. So that's task 1 is the base scope to do the permits, and task 3 is the damage assessment report. So we're recommending that just those 2 tasks be authorized at this time for Avancha's proposal.
Okay, I think it's best if, I'm sorry, I didn't respond because for some reason I either missed it or I don't know. But I will go in tomorrow and I will forward to council. I will also give you their emails for reference purposes. But if it is something that the council may need to have a small meeting on, are you open to that?
Yes.
Okay. My other question would be, insofar as you said, we have the money, we do have the money allotted. We have, off the top, we have the 255,000. Which is from the original loan of 1.5, and the 255 is left over from $700,000 dollars. On my figures off, it might be 75, but anyway, that was allocated for. That was allocated for this project. We're down to 255, so yes, we have that money. I would say more readily available. What we are banking on is the American Relief Fund, because we can use that for infrastructure. The reason I'm bringing this up is the new legislation on the book, and this is after Ben Cardin said we could use it for, Senator Ben Cardin said we could use it for infrastructure. The new legislation on the books now is that we have to have an actual contract, in place to use the money by the end of December.
Okay.
So to have a contract for that extra money that we're going to use to get this modular complex done. So I'm just giving you that time frame because we haven't even gotten to the construction phase of it, or the development, whatever you call that properly. We haven't even gotten to that phase. So my question is, what type of timeline do we have to make sure we can get something out, let's say midsummer, insofar as a contract to get them up? I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what I was alluding to, and Joy briefly mentioned it to me, and I told Joy that we have 2 options with this. And which option we go with, CPJ would advise the town as we get closer, depending on where we're at with permitting. And this decision would also come into play once the consultants get their contracts in place and we have them prepare a schedule. From that schedule, we can also see where we're tracking on the time frame. In an ideal situation, if everything tracks and we're going to get permits in late summer, early fall, then we can go out to bid either right before we get those or right after that, get the bids in, and we'd be able to get under contract before the end of the year. I say that's the ideal situation because at that point, the plans are fully done. There's no other changes involved in that. And so what the contractor bids on is exactly what they're going to be building. But if the permitting process starts dragging out or we don't think it's going to get there, we can put the project out to bid earlier The only thing we have to do then is, once the plans are done, we'd have to document any changes that had occurred since we bid it. And if there was any significant changes, there may have to be a adjustment with the contract with the contractor, but we'd still be able to get you under contract for the construction before the end of the year.
Okay, I'm glad Miss T.A. Wren told you that, because I told her that after I had, went to a meeting, and, I thought I put it up to council, but I don't remember, but yeah, that is something that we have to be mindful of, and I think that's something that not just here, but even for the development or any renovations of the town hall, which you subject, you both know about. If we don't get that contract, the work doesn't have to be done at that particular moment, but we have to go through their portals and put that, or put a copy of that contract in place. Not word of mouth, not what we're not contingent. We have to have a physical hard copy contract for any of this work we want done by the end of December. And if we do not, we will lose $2.9 million. I'm just gonna put it out there simply. We lose $3 million.
Yep, we understand, Mayor.
So, and if you can help us with, because the building as well, we're trying to get things out there, on the building, because the money from Senator Benson, the bond bill, I'm hopeful, because I put in for 400,000 more K. I'm hoping we get that money as well. So hopefully you'll be able to move along and help us get these contracts.
Yes, and CPJ will help the town prepare the bid documents that would go out to bid. So because we'll be involved with this process, we'll be able to help monitor the schedule for the town and provide recommendations we give forward. And like I said, we'll be preparing the technical specifications and the bid forms, so that would be there, since we'll also be assisting the town during construction administration as well.
Okay, thank you for that. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we've got to get these contracts in place, because money's on the line right now. We're down to months now. We're not down to years. We're down to months. So thank you so much for doing the briefing. I will get your email out, and council will let me know if they want to do council will let me know if they want to pursue any more questions. Thank you both.
You're very welcome. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what we have now, you want to jump to the staff reports quickly? Is that what y'all want to do? Okay, staff, Mr. Brown, no, excuse me, just before you come on. Okay, good. Okay, go ahead.
I just have a comment about what was heard. Your total was what, 55?
54,500.
And that's without the work.
Yo, yeah. Just right now, we in permit phase.
I'll make it a thing. It's just say Chris out. Just because. And I really think you guys are gonna need outside the council, because somebody on the staff to do proclamations, the overseers to run the ground, because we spent for an hour arguing over permits. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna, we just spend our real day, we just need to finish this, because I don't see this. You got 2 years left before the term is up, and I don't see it getting done by then. And that way a project manager would be able to expand over to the next term. And another note, the second subject was, I went to the Blue Line Corridor meeting this past Saturday. And I gave, we gave presentations on, I gave one on food. What would it take to get a food, grocery store in this town, or in this area, great. And it wasn't my term, but another person that presented gave a term as far as foods. They call them not food desert, but food swamps. And a food swamp is You know, our food deserts are somewhere where if you're within a mile of a, if you're within a mile, outside of a mile of a food grocery store, then it's a food desert. If we're technically not a food desert because Dollar Tree is considered a food grocery store. It has food. It's not what we think of as food, grocery store, but it has food. It's processed and it's not good for you, but it's food. So I would call, there's a term called food swamp. And this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. A food swamp is an area with a higher density of fast food, junk food options, rather than healthy options. Yeah. So, and that would, we're more considered a food swamp than a food desert. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Third thing, Toastmasters, we meet every second and fourth Sunday, we met yesterday. And we meet again on the second Sunday in April, and fourth Sunday. And as of the last couple of months, we've been doing it in person for Street of the Church on the third Saturday of the month, from 12:30 to 2. Catholics, the first Baptist Catholics. Yeah. Anyone's invited. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Budget season, and you're definitely allowed to come in, I'm not allowed, but welcome to come to the work session. I think that's something to consider, that we have, Councilman James is taking the lead on this because of his background. But that is something that we had put in the budget last time for a project manager. That might be something that would help Councilman James and be a liaison to them. And like you're saying, on behalf of the town, because the town administrator, that's not her area and she's burdened. So that might be a good idea, even if we only got one part-time. You know, so thank you for that. That is definitely something to
I
consider.
do part of this every day, all day. So, and I know what we do internally for the government, I know internally for the government, contractor gives me their schedule and I incorporate it. Because at some point, these guys are gonna wanna move. You have to plan that. You have to plan the furniture. They ain't gonna sit on the floor. So,
And you might want to do that. You might want to be part of the interview team. But thank you. I'm talking fast because I know they want it. Okay, staff? Yeah. Okay, if he can make it, because that's all on your. Mr. Bateman?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Sir. The staff has been so kind to say, since you're on there, you are a guest. Can you go for it?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Let me jump right in. I'm gonna try to share my screen here. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having us back. I am Pat Penrose. We are the development partner with the Argos Group working on this redevelopment. Neither Dennis nor Gilberto were able to attend tonight, unfortunately, but they send their best to the council and the mayor and others. So I'm going to focus on updates since September. I was last in front of you in September of 2023, and kind of a lot has happened with the project, a lot of very good things, and I'm going to focus on how the project has changed in those couple months. So I just will quickly reintroduce the team, the development team. Again, I'll focus on what's changed since September, and then I'll talk about the timeline and the schedule, and then what we think is next for this important redevelopment. And please feel free to interrupt at any point with questions. Again, we're Penrose. We're partnering with the Argus Group for this redevelopment. None of the other team has changed since September, working with Mosley Architects, Moya Design Partners, Soltes is a civil engineer, Southway Builders is who we're working with as a general contractor, and then Penrose Management Company will manage the project when it's complete. Just very quickly, everybody knows where the project is, of course. I wanted to put this axon view, this aerial view back on the screen to just remind everyone how we got to the building design and where it currently is. So we have to push the building, we have to push the building out away from the existing concrete channel on site, keep the building out of the 100-year floodplain. So the development plan has become attempting to build the highest density building that we can, provide the most units and affordable housing on the site that we can, while also trying to mitigate the issues with the 100-year floodplain. And not a lot about the building exterior itself has changed very much in the last couple months. We have developed the renderings further, obviously developed the design further in working toward a tax credit application. So this was what was shown to the council back in September, simple SketchUp model, not rendered at this point. And this is a more current rendering. This was put into the tax credit application that we submitted in December to support the project and our financing request to Maryland DHCD. When we brought this project to you last, we were talking about it as a 111 unit, 4% tax credit project, what we would call a bond deal. In reevaluating this project against the 9% competitive tax credit, we thought that it would be successful. So that round was in December. Shortly after seeing you in September, we pivoted and we started to think about this as both a 9% and a 4% tax credit project located within the same building. And that is to make it as competitive as possible for Maryland DHCD and give us the best possible chance of getting a 9% tax credit allocation.
There's a question for you, sir.
Yes, of course.
Jump in, so Council Mayor Pro Tem Chu.
Good evening. I know that you mentioned the tax credit application.
Yes.
It seems like every other year, you guys are trying to get this tax credit application pushed through. This is probably the 4th time I've heard this with this project. And so I'm trying to understand and wonder why you guys keep waiting and actually dependent on this tax credit when every year you keep applying for it and it seems like you're not getting it. So I'm trying to understand, is there another plan? Is there a plan B or something else you have in the works? Because this is and I'm gonna be honest, you guys talk about this tax credit. This is the 4th or 5th time that you'll keep telling us about this tax credit. And to us, I feel like that means that you guys are holding the town of Capitol Heights hostage for that land because you keep telling us about this tax credit and then every year it changes. So we need to hear something different when you come to us about that land.
Okay. The difference this time is, and I can't speak to before we were involved, but the difference this time is that we've actually submitted the tax credit application. We submitted that in December. Back in the spring of 2022, I know we were pushing to submit for a tax credit application, but we were unable to get the site control formalized, the LDA, in time to submit that tax credit application. There was also other things that weren't yet in place for the project. And so we weren't able to submit it at that point. That was the last round that was available. There hasn't been a round since April 2022 until this round that just occurred in December of 2023. The last time that we came in front of you in September, I believe we were focused on this as a 4% tax credit project, but we did mention the possibility of putting in a 9% application. And when we were last discussing the budget, I believe we had a $9 or $10 million gap, financing gap, which left us completely unable to move forward. Since then, we've secured a commitment of over $9 million from Prince George's DHCD. We've also completely pivoted and re-underwrote the project as both a 9 and 4% twin combination project. So securing the additional financing, securing the pilot, completely re-underwriting the project, and submitting a tax credit application are all things that have occurred since September.
Okay, and my last question is, are you saying, and can you guarantee the town that if this tax credit application does not go through, your team has a plan B that we can continue to move forward? Because if not, that means we're going into another 8 or 9 years that land has not been developed, and we're still waiting for your team to come in and develop on that land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understood. I think the plan B would be to go back to just doing a 4% bond deal, not utilizing the 9% tax credit. That will cause significant strain on the budget. We'll have to go back to Prince George's County and try to have a conversation with them about needing additional funding. And so we'll certainly go after that as quickly as we can if we don't get a 9% award.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
You're welcome.
Okay, sir, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. So the changes that occurred, touched on a couple of these already, but the first one was going from a single project, a single 4% project, to a 50-unit 9% project and a 70-unit 4% project. All of these changes have been codified in the monthly reports that we've been sending to you, but they've all occurred since the last time that we spoke. So I think they're important to run through. Including the 9% tax credit in the project helped reduce that $9 or $10 million gap that we came to you in September with by about $3 million. In preparing for that tax credit application, we sought to squeeze more units into the building from 111 to 120. That is because 120 is the least amount that we could have in a project to be competitive for the 9% tax credit. We, in conversations with Prince George's DHCD about additional financing over the summer, they approached us, including units, extremely low units for persons experiencing homelessness as a priority for them. And they offered to work with us on additional funding to offer those units. So we've incorporated into the 9% project 10 units for folks earning up to 10% AMI as a request. Prince George's DHCD, and they agreed to supply additional funding to the project to help balance out the loss of income associated with those units. We also added 8 30% AMI units and 8 50% AMI units within the 9% project. That was for the purposes of making the application more competitive, but what we ended up with was a much more well-rounded project that will better serve people of multiple income tiers. Previously, it was 111 units for people earning up to 60% AMI. Now we have a range of unit AMIs from 10% all the way up to 60. So a much more accommodating project. And again, that was driven in part by the 9% tax credit. The commercial space decreased slightly in size to include the required amount of parking. And as the design of the building continued to progress, and then the project budget increased from 49 million to 54 million overall. This is quite simply, it's more expensive to build two separate projects, but the 9% tax credit equity far outweighs the increase in budget to a total benefit of $3 million, as I already mentioned. So updates, project progress. This slide is an evolution one I showed back in September. I removed some older things from the list and included the things that have occurred since September in bold. We secured an additional nearly $9.3 million from Prince George's DHCD. You know, that just shows the priority of the county around the Blue Line corridor. And it shows their support for this project that we've been able to garner since the summer. We again submitted the 9% tax credit application in December, and we are anxiously awaiting to hear about whether or not this will be awarded. In the next couple weeks, we think that the state will put out the list of projects that got awarded this funding round. This is an updated schedule. I just want to, yes.
This Councilman Chu again, I just wanted to confirm, you will give the council notification once you get the denial or approval of your application in the month of April, this April, correct?
Yeah, we're expecting the awards to come out in the next couple weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And at that point, it's full steam ahead. So some dates here have shifted slightly. There's no impact to any of the dates we showed previously later in the schedule. You know, we were talking about a conservative estimate of starting construction in very, very early 2026. We think that date holds, and we would love to improve on that date. A lot of that was contingent on when we get the 9% award and when we can, you know, move full steam ahead with the design team. This slide is just a placeholder reminding the council that we'll, you know, move forward. Once we receive an award, we'll move forward with the closure of Phase Street as quickly as we can as we move into the entitlement process with the county and parking planning. So I've spent a lot of time talking about the 9% credit, the application, and the impact of the project. Again, we will pivot on this thing. We will work on finding another path forward, but we do feel very, very good about this application. So I kind of wanted to reiterate the impact, the competition, and what we're doing and what we think the town could do to help get this project funded. So again, the loss of the 9% credit would reduce equity in the project by $4.7 million. The way that costs get shifted around, again, two projects is more expensive than one. The credit it brings about a $3 million direct benefit to the project. I guess you could think about that 1.7 million as increased costs, but again, this is an overall benefit, and that's why we're pursuing it. The loss of the 9% credit would also remove another $2.5 million in soft funding that we requested within the application from Maryland DHCD. So you can see that, you know, this is what's making this project work in its current iteration. This is a very competitive process, as it is every year. There were 23 applications submitted in December, and there were only 12 applications awarded in the 2022 funding round. There was a total of 31.7 million in tax credits requested at the end of last year, and only 17 million were awarded last round. And there was a total of $53.5 million in soft funding requested, and only 15 million was awarded last round. So in a lot of ways, even more competitive than the credits themselves are the soft funding that is also being requested from the state for pretty much every project that is submitted, ours included. And what we've been doing in terms of outreach. So Mayor Monroe very generously provided a support letter. We put that into our application. It was very helpful. So thank you for doing that. We had a conversation with Senator Benson last week. She's sending a support letter to Secretary Jake Day of Maryland DHCD, again, imploring him about the importance of this project and encouraging him to help get it funded. And, letters, phone calls, emails to the governor's office, emails to the secretary or other elected officials, any outreach that the town would be comfortable taking on, as the next couple weeks will be critical in them determining which projects they're going to fund. And I believe that was my last slide. So a lot of information there, a lot of updates since September. I'm happy to field any additional questions that you might have at this point.
Okay, I'll open the floor to the council. Councilwoman Amanda,
I have no question.
Representative Chu.
I have one more question.
Yes.
I know you're waiting for the funding and the tax credit application and things like that. Now, once you are approved, say for instance, you get approved for the tax credit, you have all your funding. There was another issue that came up with the, what's it, the flood,
Yeah, the flood study. We have to commission a full flood study, and that will be a part of the process for approving the detailed site plan with park and planning.
right, because I know in the last, I think LDA, in there you mentioned if you guys could not get approval, that you want to back out of the contract.
If we could not get approval for the floodplain to essentially build the building.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not familiar off the top of my head with that carve out, but I can look into it. It would make sense that an agreement to build a building that the county wouldn't allow us to would have something like that. But again, I'm not familiar with that off the top of my head.
Yeah, I have a copy of it, but I don't have it
Okay.
with me. But,
Yeah.
And I yield.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Ford?
Now, she said you could reduce the space for commercial, right? How much did you say? I missed that.
It went from about 2,000 square feet to 1,700 square feet. That was a function of we have a certain amount of parking we have to include within the podium of the building, which is shared with the commercial space. And then there's also a number of critical building functions that have to be down there as well, like a trash room, and other things like that to support the building as a whole. So that was primarily a function of needing the amount of parking that we need to support the units above.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Quick question. What model did you use to construct your building? What kind of materials are you going to use in constructing the building?
Oh, okay. The building is primarily, let me get a better image. So the building is primarily what we call durable materials, which is a good thing. It makes for a more durable building. It also makes for a more attractive building. So the majority of, I'll say the white siding areas here they're hardy cement siding. So they're not vinyl. They're a cement. I think it's a 5-inch overlap siding. And then the blue areas are a similar material, but they're called hardy panels. They're not like the typical overlapping siding. They're more of a contemporary application of that material. And then the towers, the stair towers and the main entrance area, I believe this is a light tan colored brick. The only area where we're utilizing vinyl, anything other than hard materials, is within the courtyard, and kind of the interfacing portions of the building that aren't facing out toward the community. And then, of course, a good portion of glass as well.
Thank you. I hear you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Lee. Councilman James?
Yes. And thank you for your presentation. How can I get a copy of this?
I've been emailing with the mayor. Should I send it to her?
Okay.
I'll make sure everyone gets
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
As my colleague was stating, they're driving polyurethane boards, panels with cementitious finish.
I'm so you broke out for part of the question, but they're cement panels essentially. And then the siding shown here is fiber cement siding.
Okay. But that's all I have, man.
Thank you. I just have two brief ones. The flood plan approval, that's been, or the approval of such has been going on for what, 2 years? How long? Because I mean, I know, yeah, I did hear about it during last council, so I'm wondering how long does it take to get an approval? Because it's like, let me piggyback on that. The reason I'm saying that is because the same issue came up during the WMATA with the MOU that we have in place. That was one of their concerns. And
Right.
the reason I'm bringing this up is because if a feasibility study determines that you cannot build, all this is for naught. So that's why I'm asking you, what type of work or effort has been done to get this moving faster to get approval?
Sure. So we have our civil engineer they've done a detailed analysis of the site. It's not a full-blown flood study, but they've obviously been out there and surveyed. They have done some pretty detailed modeling to understand